The type of weapon you use in Elden Ring really says a lot about the kind of player you are. If you use a colossal weapon, you probably like face trading with everything in sight. If you use a bow, you like keeping your distance and playing it safe. However, if you're the kind of player who likes to be agile and lethal, I say go get yourself a dagger. There's a total of 16 daggers in the game, and I'm going to be using each and every one. Before we get into that though, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Opera GX, the one true Elden Lord of browsing. It's a goofy comparison, I know, but as someone who has been an active user of Opera GX for the past year and a half, I can honestly say there's no better option, especially if you're a gamer, because unlike other browsers, Opera GX doesn't want to sap all of your computer's resources. Through the GX control panel, you can set limits on how much CPU and RAM the browser is permitted to use, so you can game tabs open and lag free. You can even connect your favorite streaming, social media, and music platforms that are then seamlessly integrated into the browser. And the customization doesn't stop there. If you head to the GX store, you can find a plethora of GX mods, which with just one click can take your browser to the next level. The medieval mod that I have here is perfect for all of you fantasy lovers out there. It comes with this nice animated wallpaper and some beautiful background music. I mean, just listen to whenever you type, or open and close a tab. Isn't that just peachy? And all of these elements can be turned on and off within the GX mod menu. And some of you might be worried that switching browsers is a hassle, but luckily for you, Opera GX has a quick import tool. This allows you to transfer all history, bookmarks, and cookies from your previous browser in no time at all. It really is that easy. So make the switch today by checking out my link in the description, and thanks again to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. Alrighty, the first dagger of the day is the dagger. I'm rolling with Keen Affinity and Impaling Thrust. As you can see, you get S scaling in dex. And I think for every single one of these daggers, I'm going to have 2 on deck at all times, so I can swap between two-handing and power stancing. Taking a look at the two-handed moveset, it is a bunch of very, very fast slashes. Then the two-handed heavy attack string is a double stab. Got the jumping light, jumping heavy, rolling attack, running light, running heavy, and then the backstep attack. Then the one-handed light attack string is basically the same as the two-handed, you know, it's just very, very quick swipes. However, the one-handed heavy attack string is actually slashes instead of stabs. And then the power stance moveset is just a flurry of attacks. If you punish somebody at the right time with this moveset, you can just blender them so quickly. The jumping power stance attack, I'm not really a fan of. It feels a little bit awkward to use. But then you got the running attack and the rolling attack. Wait, what does the backstep attack look like though? Oh, okay. That's really not bad at all. And a little fun fact about this weapon, it is actually the dagger with the lowest dex requirement. However, it also has the second highest critical damage rating out of all the daggers at 130. Oh god. And see, the name of the game with daggers is all about the speed and the pressure, because you can really just squeeze in attacks between your opponent's attacks very, very easily. Oh, nice. Ooh, oh my god. What a fight. GG's. I tell you what, that impaling thrust definitely came in handy. And even though this is just the basic dagger, it's still a very, very solid weapon due to the critical hit rating, the good dex scaling, and just based on the feel of that first fight, I think the power stance moveset is the way to go over the two-handed moveset. And this weapon is usable by all starter classes, even the hero, so that's good too. And you can get the dagger for 400 runes from the Twin Maiden husks at the Round Table Hold, and it also has a 4% chance to drop from highwaymen and different types of foot soldiers, and a few of them can be encountered early. If you just head east from the War Master's shack, there will be like a camp around here where you can farm for the dagger. And moving on to dagger number 2, we have the Parrying Dagger with keen affinity and parry. And something I found really interesting about this weapon right off the bat is the fact that it has one of the highest dex scalings in the game. However, this thing is meant for parrying, so I'm not really sure why they did that. And whenever you use dagger parry, you get 11 startup frames, 9 active frames, and 31 recovery frames at 60 FPS, making it slightly worse than small shields, but better than any other weapon that can parry. Oh yeah, and this weapon, whether you're one-handing, two-handing, or power stancing, has the same moveset as the normal dagger. And dagger parry is one of the parries that I have the least amount of experience with, so I'm not going to sit here and promise that I'm going to land it, but I can try. Oh, it's the first person that we fought. What's good? And also they are using a two-handed colossal, so I can't really parry that. Okay, now I can parry this. Oh, that was so close. Damn it. Ooh, good fight. Dude, we were so close to landing that parry. Oh my god. Also, for some reason, I didn't catch their name, but hey, GG's to that person. Very, very fun fights. And yeah, that's the Parrying Dagger. Has fantastic dex scaling. It may be the best dex scaling in the entire game. I'm not completely sure because I know scaling values have changed here and there, so just know that it is one of the highest. And if you would like to get your hands on the Parrying Dagger, it is sold by Patches for 1600 runes at Murkwater Cave. Or if you choose to kill Patches, you can then bring his bell bearing to the Twin Maiden Husks and buy it from them. Now, moving on to the third dagger of the day, here we have the Misericorde. I'm going with keen affinity and sword dance. And you guys might be wondering why I have this buckler in my offhand. Well, the Misericorde actually has the highest critical hit rating out of all the weapons in the entire game. And because that's the case, I feel like I need to land a critical hit with this weapon. And the only thing different about the Misericorde's moveset from the last two daggers is actually the heavy attack string. No matter how you wield it, you get this nice double thrust. Okay, that's just 1500 damage right there. Oh my lord. Wait, that missed? How did that miss? How did that hit? This game makes no sense. Hey, GG. Hey, but regardless, win or lose, you got to see the damage potential of a critical hit with the Misericorde. This weapon is absolutely insane if you enjoy parrying, going for backstabs, or breaking people's guard. The Misericorde is a wonderful weapon to have on you. And you can get this weapon very, very early inside Stormvale Castle. It is found on a corpse inside of the armory, and there is a white fog door blocking the armory, so you will need a stone sword key to access it. Hey, but as long as you got a stone sword key, the Misericorde is yours. Moving on to dagger number 4. Here I have the Great Knife with blood affinity and bloody slash, which I'm kind of shocked you can actually use bloody slash on a dagger. And the Great Knife with blood affinity performs better than all the other daggers with blood affinity. And this is also a good option for occult builds as well because it does have innate bleed. And in terms of the daggers, the Great Knife is just a personal favorite of mine. I can't really tell you why. I think I just really like the shape of the blade. And as much as I wish there are no unique attacks on the Great Knife. And for all of you guys who chose the Bandit starter class in the beginning of the game, you are definitely familiar with this weapon. However, if you don't choose the Bandit class, you do have to farm for it, and I'll explain how in a second. Let's just see who our opponent is. Okiri, hello. What is good? I'm gonna go ahead and hit you with this bloody slash, and you're not gonna like it. Oh my... And see, this is what I was talking about in the beginning, that daggers can just be a total blender. Hey, good fight, Okiri. But yeah, the Great Knife is just a fantastic weapon. I'm a huge fan of it. As I said, it is especially good on bleed and occult builds. Bloody Slash did 1,000 damage, which is ridiculous. And as I said, if you did not choose the bandit class in the beginning of the game, you do have to farm for this weapon. And for some reason, this weapon has a base drop rate of 2.13%. at 100 discovery, and it drops from demi-humans that wield it. You can find 4 of them hiding in a flock of sheep near the craftsman shack, or you can head to Lakeside Crystal Cave, and at the very beginning of the dungeon, there is 1 demi-human that's wielding it. So you best get out there and get to farming, brother. And this next dagger that I have here in my hands is actually in the same vein as the Great Knife. It is the Bloodstained Dagger, and as you can see, it does come with innate bleed, just like the Great Knife. But I kind of decided that I didn't want to do just another bleed build, so I'm going with Poison instead. And the Ashes of War that I have are Poison Moth Flight and Poisonous Mist. As for the moveset of this weapon, it just has the basic dagger moveset. And the idea behind this setup is that I start out using Poisonous Mist to get the poison buff on my left-handed dagger, and then I bring out the other one with Poison Moth Flight. And if you use Poison Moth Flight on somebody who's poisoned, it will do quite a bit of damage. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, it basically is just a bleed build with extra steps. And this is something I definitely should have said in the beginning. It can actually be a huge struggle to use daggers in PvP, because literally every other weapon class can just tank all your attacks. Ooh, wait, they got fist weapons. Hold on. He's poisoned. Oh, damn it. I feel like Poison Moth Flight could honestly use a buff. It just comes out too slow. Shredified, dude. Who's gonna win, Yindis? Who's gonna win? Oh, good fight, dude. Now, see, that was not a bad matchup at all. That was kind of good, actually. If you're going up against a great spear, a great axe, great sword, or even like a straight sword, and you're not careful, you are just going to get traded into left and right. But hey, the Bloodstained Dagger, not too bad. Comes with an innate status effect. Solid strength scaling, pretty fun to use on this poison setup. And this weapon does have to be farmed. It has a 4% chance to drop from demi-human chiefs, and you can actually find 2 of them very close to each other in the Hermit Village on Mount Gelmir. Switching things up again, here I have 2 Erdsteel Daggers with Sacred Affinity and Sacred Blade, and the Erdsteel Dagger is actually unique in multiple ways. First of all, it is the only default face scaling weapon that can have their affinity altered, thus giving it a total of 4 stats to scale with. However, its scaling and status buildup on anything but the Sacred or Flame Art affinities will be extremely poor, so you definitely want to run these daggers on a Faith build. This weapon also has a special R2 chain that it does share with 2 of the enchanted daggers that we'll get to later, but I am really just in love with this heavy attack string. And these daggers are gold now, but whenever you use Sacred Blade, of course, they get even golder. That's not even a word. But no, after you get the weapon buff from Sacred Blade, these daggers look so cool. And just having a long-reaching Ash of War like Sacred Blade is so good to have on daggers, because obviously you have to get in close all the time with daggers, but having a projectile allows you to kind of switch things up. Bookshelf Eater. What is good? God, that is solid damage for a dagger right there. I cannot lie. Oh, this guy has a very interesting build. Oh my god, dude. But see, that's the thing. If somebody whiffs an Ash of War or an attack that has a lot of recovery to it, you can just come in with the Power Stance moveset and delete a health bar just like that. I'm seriously a huge fan of the Erdsteel Dagger. I would definitely recommend it with Sacred or Flame Art affinity, and I honestly do think that Sacred Blade is going to be the best choice of Ash of War for this weapon. And for all you guys who do want to go out and Power Stance Erdsteel Daggers, you can actually get 2 of these in a playthrough. One is given by Kenneth Height as a reward for clearing out Fort Height, while the other one is found on a corpse northwest of the Avenue Balcony side of Grace in Lindell Royal Capital. Next up, here I have the Wakizashi with Occult Affinity and Blood Tax. And this weapon is very, very interesting because FromSoft basically took a dagger but also made it a katana. Let me explain. So if you just two-hand the Wakizashi, you just get the normal two-handed dagger moveset. But the funny thing is, whenever it comes to power stancing the Wakizashi, you can only power stance it with katanas or another Wakizashi. As you can see, if you do try power stancing it with another dagger, it simply does not work. So whenever you do power stance two Wakizashis, you actually get the katana power stanced moveset. And here is how it looks whenever you do power stance it with a katana. Oh yeah, and then Blood Tax is basically a lifesteal version of Repeating Thrust. And I really do just love how FromSoft designed this weapon. Chikua, hello? I feel like they're gonna be light loading. This could be a little bit tough. Ooh. Dude, this... Okay, this feels so weird using two Wakizashis. What a goofy animation. Good fight. And yeah, that is the Wakizashi, aka the Kataini. As I said, I'm a huge fan. I think it's fantastic what FromSoft did with this weapon. You know, you can go get yourself a katana, get yourself a Wakizashi, power stance those bad boys, maybe even put parry on the Wakizashi if you really want to have some fun. There's just a load of possibilities with this weapon, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to want to get your hands on this thing, so all you got to do is go to Jail Cave. Once you're in there, there are a ton of locked jail cells. And in one of those jail cells, you will find the Wakizashi. And for the final non-enchanted dagger of the video, here I have the Celebrant Sickle. I'm going with Cold Affinity and Hoarfrost Stomp. Now, this weapon doesn't really have any unique attacks or anything. However, it does have a unique property, where each consecutive hit that you land grants 10 runes. Which I guess is a cool trait, but considering what you have to do to get this weapon, I wouldn't necessarily say it's worth it. It only has a 0.5% chance to drop from those creepy dancing ladies at Windmill Village, which I really don't understand why it's such a low drop rate. But see, now I'm just very excited to move on to the enchanted daggers, because in terms of design, this weapon class has some of the coolest enchanted weapons in the entire game. Alrighty, who is these? Oh my lord. YC. Okay, not bad. Oh, wait, that still hit me. Oh my god. Hey, good fight, YC. And listen, all around, I'm just not a fan of the Celebrant's weapons. They have such a low drop rate. They don't have amazing scaling by any means. And the unique trait where you get extra runes per successive hit, it really just doesn't make this weapon anything special. So let's just move on to the enchanted ones. But before we do that, I want to remind you very quickly to click this subscribe. Now, in terms of the enchanted daggers, the first one that I'm going to use here is probably the most lackluster one. This is the Ivory Sickle, and it's a weird weapon for multiple reasons. So you upgrade this weapon with normal smithing stones, but it is non-infusable, and on top of that, you can't even buff it with consumables or spells, and the scaling is just very, very weird. C in Dex and C in Intelligence. And the Ash of War that you're stuck with is Quickstep, which isn't the worst thing in the world. But seriously, why in the hell can you not infuse this thing or buff this thing in any way? Oh yeah, and what's even more disappointing is the fact that this weapon doesn't even have unique attacks literally at all. I mean, honestly, this is probably the most basic dagger in terms of like its ability. FromSoft, please update this thing. Just make it infusible, give it some cool Ash of War or something, make it a somber weapon, I don't know, but it definitely needs help. Okay, who's gonna face the wrath of the Ivory Sickles? Hello, Drip. Are you ready? Oh god. Okay. This already doesn't feel good. I mean, they just stood there and took it, so, GG. Listen, if there's any reason at all that you want to go get this weapon, go to the village of Albinarix, and it is up a small hill past this side of Grace in a stone coffin. Now listen guys, this next weapon is just as disappointing as the Ivory Sickle. It is kind of in a similar vein. It's the crystal knife. Once again, you get quick step. Once again, it is non-infusable. Once again, you have to upgrade it with normal smithing stones. And once again, you cannot buff it with consumables or spells. I seriously do not understand the purpose of this weapon whatsoever. No unique attacks or properties. It is just lackluster across the board. Now listen, I just need you to bear with me for this fight because every dagger that comes after this is good in its own right. Like, I almost don't even, like, want to win with this weapon. I don't even feel like using it. It's just so bad. Yeah, you scared, MDN? You scared? You should be. I have 2 crystal knives, dog. What are you gonna do about it? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, let's just move on. And I mean, for all you guys who want to use this garbage weapon, all you got to do is head to Rhea Lucaria Crystal Tunnel. And once you're in there, all you got to do is find a chest that is being guarded by marionette soldiers. And inside of that chest is the Crystal Dagger. Okay, if you're still watching after those 2 horrendous weapons, I just want to say I appreciate you. Because the first somber dagger of the video is the Glintstone Kris and its unique Ash of War Glintstone Dart. As for the moveset, this weapon actually gets the double stab heavy attack string, which is very, very nice. All the other attack strings are just basic though. But then the Ash of War Glintstone Dart is a projectile with a heavy attack follow-up, and it looks like this. Wait, is this thing chargeable? Oh, wait, it is. Well, if that's the case, I'm just going to go ahead and slap on the Godfrey icon. All right, who's going to be my dartboard? YC. Oh, hello. What is good? I'm back with a new dagger. Oh, damn it, dude. Oh, dude, I want to hit the follow-up heavy so bad. But sadly, YC is not going to let it happen. Oh no, YC. Hey, good fight. And as I said earlier with, what was it? The Erdsteel Dagger and Sacred Blade, having a projectile on a dagger is one of the greatest things ever. There's a lot of mix-up potential with the Ash of War. You can charge it, you can not charge it. You can follow up with just a light attack if someone rolls into you. If someone rolls away from you, you can do the heavy attack follow-up. There's just so many mind games that you can play with this weapon, and you're just going to be getting solid damage all around. I would highly, highly recommend getting this weapon, and if you do want to get it, you're going to have to progress through Sorceress Selen's quest line, so I would just look up how to do that. Moving on, here I have the Scorpion Stinger. The Ash of War that you get on it is Repeating Thrust, which is very, very solid. You get nice B scaling and dex, and 50 rot buildup a hit. As for the moveset, it does have the same heavy attack string as the Glintstone Kris. And see, the funny thing about this weapon, at least in PvP, is it's almost better unupgraded because you only get 50 rot buildup a hit, so it's just gonna take a very, very long time to proc. And on top of that, a lot of people just carry boluses, so that's a whole nother thing to worry about. Okay, wait, what? Wait, why'd they drink that flask? That was weird. Oh. See, even after all those hits, we still didn't proc rot. Oh, wait, there we go. Oh, no. Oh, my God. I almost just panic rolled into that Sacred Blade. That would have been so bad. Oh, damn it. He had the boluses. So considering that rot just takes a long time to proc in PvP and people usually have boluses, I just think that this weapon really, really excels in a PvE environment instead. And if you want to go get the Scorpion Stinger, all you got to do is go to the Lake of Rot, head to the Grand Cloister, walk down, and there will be a chest like around here that will have the scorpion stinger inside. And we are closing in on the final 4 daggers of the video. Up next here I have the Cinquedea, or the Cinquedea. Again, this is another one where I've seen people argue about the pronunciation, but fun fact, the name of this weapon actually means 5 fingers in Italian, and if you take a look at the blade, you can actually see like 5 little fingers going up it, which I think is a very nice touch. Now, sadly, this does not have a unique Ash of War, but it really isn't a bad thing in this weapon's case, because this weapon actually buffs the damage of bestial incantations by 10%. So you can use this weapon in your main hand and then go get a Claw Mark Seal, which further buffs bestial incantations, and then you can kind of just skirt around people with Quick Step, throw stones at them, get a couple swings in, quick step again. You basically turn into the Beast Clergyman. However, this is a dagger showcase, so I'm not going to be running spells on this setup, but I'm telling you, it is a load of fun. All right, now I'm ready to shred this person. Oh, God. Oh, what? Whoa, was that a true combo? I could not roll out of that. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, that was like an execution. GG, dude. All in all, I would highly recommend the Cinquedea, whatever the hell you want to call it. And getting this weapon is a load of fun. First, you need to make your way to the Bestial Sanctum in Caelid. And once you're here, you're going to want to head outside and go towards the west. And once you're at these cliffs, you can see that there are roots that you can jump down to. So you basically just have to platform your way down. But once you're down here and searching this area, you will find the dagger as well as the Dragon Crest Shield Talisman, which is a very solid talisman for PvE. And next up here we have the Reduvia. I'm sure a lot of you guys are very familiar with this weapon. And it has a semi-unique Ash of War, Reduvia Bloodblade. You get nice scaling in Dex as well as Arcane and some good bleed buildup. This weapon has the normal dagger moveset. And some of you guys may realize, like, wait, there's Reduvia Bloodblade, and then there's the normal Bloodblade Ash of War. And the difference is, normal Bloodblade actually takes your health, but Reduvia Bloodblade does not. And as you can see, you get this very nice projectile. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even know if I've actually touched this weapon. Hello to Drip. Dude, the pressure from curved swords is just so crazy. Oh my God. The blenders, man, they just feel so good. And the Reduvia in all aspects, I think, is a wonderful weapon. And I know I sound like a broken record here, but daggers with projectiles, it's just so good because you can zone your opponent out, and if they get close to you and kind of get too cocky, then you're just blendering them and the fight's over. Every single person that plays Elden Ring should go get this weapon, and it's not even hard to get either. It is a guaranteed drop by the Invader NPC Bloody Finger Narajus. Am I butchering that pronunciation too? I probably am. But literally, right as you reach the first step, all you gotta do is head through this lake, up this ravine, and once you get invaded, defeat him, and you'll get the dagger. And alright, these final 2 daggers are the 2 that I am most excited to show off. One is the Blade of Calling, and the other is the Black Knife. And if there's anything that represents a yin and yang in this game, it's these 2 weapons. The first one that I am going to show is the Blade of Calling with its unique Ash of War Blade of Gold. And the Blade of Calling has the exact same heavy attack string as the Erdsteel Dagger. And as for the Ash of War Blade of Gold, well, here's what it looks like. But whenever you are in the air with this Ash of War, you get very solid hyper armor, but that is only if you're in the air. Secondly, this Ash of War has very, very strong knockback against like small and medium enemies. And on top of that, stealth attacks with the Ash of War, so if you use it on an unaware enemy, it will also do additional damage. Gus. Hello, Gus. What is good? All right, you ready for this Blade of Gold, dude? I'm about to hit you with it. You gotta be careful. Okay, there seems to be a little bit of lag. Ooh, nice. There we go. There's that knockback. Some solid damage, too. Hey, good fight, Gus. And there you go, a pretty good showcase for the Blade of Calling. Now, let me get to the Black Knife. Okay, I can't get too ahead of myself just yet, though. If you want to get the Blade of Calling, you need to get the Forbidden Lands side of Grace and head back towards this elevator. And once you're on the elevator, face southwest, activate the lift, and then eventually you will find an opening right here where you can get official's attire, which is kind of cool. But once you head through the door and go into this room, you will find the Blade of Calling on this table. So as I said before, the Black Knife and the Blade of Calling are essentially yin and yang. On the Black Knife, you get the Ash of War Blade of Death. And Blade of Death is 1000% one of my favorite Ashes of War in the entire game. Here's what it looks like. So instead of a gold projectile, you get this pink one. And if you land it, it reduces the enemy's max HP by 10% for 15 seconds. It also saps enemy HP for 5 seconds, and deals 10 stance damage. Oh yeah, and this also does have the same heavy attack string as the Blade of Calling and the Erdsteel Dagger. Oh, and just like Blade of Gold, Blade of Death does give you extra damage if you land a stealth attack with it. Miosh. Hello, Miosh. What? Miosh, what's going on, dude? Where's your weapon? What's going on? Oh, there it is. Okay, that's a big weapon. Oh, God. Oh, that's not good. Oh, and as you just saw right there, what's cool about Blade of Death is the health debuff can actually go through iframes. Which to me doesn't make the most sense, if I'm being honest. But hey, it's a cool little perk, I guess. Hey, good fight, Miosh. And I really do love both of these weapons. I do think that the Black Knife has the edge over the Blade of Calling, though. The knockback from Blade of Calling is nice and all, but that health debuff is just so crazy on the Black Knife. And to get your hands on the Black Knife, you just need to head to Altus Plateau, go to Sainted Hero's Grave, and outside of the entrance, there will be a Black Knife assassin who drops the dagger. And that is officially it for the dagger weapon class. This was honestly a load of fun, but I'm not gonna lie to you, there are just some matchups in PvP specifically where daggers really suffer. I'm not saying that they are entirely unusable in certain scenarios, but you do have to put in a lot more work. Feel free to comment down below what your favorite or least favorite dagger is. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, noti bell if you want updates for future videos. You know the drill. Stay safe, have a good weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.